Hello, friends. Hello, friends. This is the Greg Sterlace Show, the non-Greg Sterlace Show, except only the substitute of the substitute. And this is, I am your host, John, also John F. Greenschwinn, as you know, my dear friends. And we have wonderful guests. This is our dear friend, Mae, and our other dear friend, Beth. And she has a guest of her own. Oh, of course. King of TV, Mr. Dudley. He's a wonderful young man. Hello, Mr. Dudley. It's good to see you. I hope you've...
Damn right it is.
It is, are you going to be doing anything for Easter, Mr. Dudley?
I have to hide my cosmic egg from the children's.
Now that is...
They like to snatch it from me.
Don't steal eggs from children, Dudley. That's very rude. You shouldn't...
No, the children's be stealing my cosmic egg.
Oh, well, okay. If that, yeah, don't let them take it from you. You know, those little brats. You don't want to...
What happens if the kids get your cosmic egg? Is it
Very bad things can happen.
Oh, like
That's
if
where I
an
keep
American
my
kid
magic
eats a Kinder egg.
2.5 mushrooms.
Ah, yes. That sounds illegal, Dudley.
Yeah, that sounds a little... that sounds worse than a Kinder egg.
In the seventh dimension.
Yes. Much scarier than the sixth dimension.
I don't know. I mean, that's where the Danny Elfman devil lives, and a whole sorts of other things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the sixth dimension. That's where all sorts of crazy stuff happens.
I don't want to go to the sixth
There's a
dimension.
little midget king and the crazy busty queen of the sixth dimension.
Have you been there? That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of I think it's, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's a sex or a torture dungeon, but it's all made out of
Oh, this is a real
anyways.
thing.
Yeah, no, it's a film. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
high budget.
Yeah, it's Danny Elfman's first film score was for his brother Richard Elfman's film The Forbidden Zone, and they wanted it to be in gaudy color, but they couldn't afford color film, so it's all in black and white. And they apparently didn't have enough budget for anything else either, so all the sets are cardboard.
Huh. Is it? Oh, that sounds...
It's very bizarre. It's also kind of generally offensive in almost every way it can be.
Oh.
But I mean...
Is it good, though?
Yeah, you just have to, with other movies, you have to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
You have to, suspend your offense.
Oh.
Yeah. Not get offended by it, but go, whoa! Okay. And then just keep watching it.
Well, I'd like to check it out. I do like Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
But,
This has got some really good, bad rotoscoping in it.
We own it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. On DVD.
is it,
Have it on
obscure?
DVD.
It sounds very obscure.
It's a little bit obscure. They were trying to make a sequel for the, last, 8 years. It just hasn't come out yet.
Fascinating.
Because they don't want to draw attention to the original one.
Well, that doesn't look like the sequel's going to be much better.
When's it from? The 70s?
1980.
Oh, okay. That's, interesting. But, I'd like to, promote a obscure film for the viewers out there. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend to see, Born in Flames. It's a very, very interesting movie. I saw it, and, I don't know how to explain it. It's made by a very, feminist filmmaker in the 70s, and it's about poor black feminists in New York City rising up and taking over New York City. It's very strange, but it's very, very entertaining, and it's very, very moving. I don't know how to explain it. And there's a really good song in it, and I know a great song about that film that a friend of mine wrote, and so I just think it's a cool movie to get into. It's very inspiring if you get the chance, but it's kind of hard to find.
I really like the concept of that film. I also really hope that the cover is a bunch of women rising up doing this, because I really want to Photoshop the part of the cover from Escape from New York into it with who's that? Who's the guy? And Escape from New York. Anyways, he's on the cover and he's escaping from New York. I was put him in front, running away. That'd be great.
You should make that. I think the director is still active, so I'm sure she would love to see any kind of art for it. I don't believe people know it exists.
I did it in paint. Look at my deviant art. Isn't my art great? That website has two kinds of people on it. People who you're not even sure how you're this same like the drawing is so bad you're not even sure how like you're in the same genus as them, and then the people who are like so good at the drawing, you're like, I should just give up on art.
That's very true. But I like.
Like, I'm pretty sure this one was drawn by an elephant who was given a mouse. This was very bad.
I agree. Definitely. And
I used to have a DeviantArt.
I still use
I
it.
probably still have one somewhere. I think it's the only record I have of a couple paintings actually that I lost.
Oh no.
I have no idea what my name was though. We should probably try to find it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. I made a giant collage. It was like, I think it was like 4 foot by 3 foot, little tiny pieces. I basically painted with scraps of magazine paper.
Oh,
It was really cool.
that's neat.
I was really into that for a while, but this one was huge, and I sold it for like $500.
Wow, that's
this
awesome.
Seems like it would be very tedious.
It was very tedious. It took me a long time. I did a lot of smaller ones too, but the giant one was.
I didn't know you did art.
was like a
That's cool.
portrait, Yeah.
I really want to see this movie now.
It's really good. I highly
tell
recommend
us
it.
more about the movie. Sorry,
Yeah.
we kind of.
I haven't seen it in a few years, but it's hard to remember everything because it's kind of it's not complex. It is, but it's just very very strange movie. But I really like it. I highly recommend you look it up. But I think the DVD is kind of obscure. Like I remember the box looks like like it was just kind of thrown together in 2 seconds by somebody in their house. So it's like I don't know how legit it is, but it's known.
I like that idea. It's like intentionally doing movie covers bad because they're already bad because they use that font, Papyrus. So many movies use that font.
Which
Warn everyone.
The movie font. The other
My favorite font is Comic Sans.
Comic Sans.
Oh, Dudley.
Oh, Dudley.
I'm sure in the 7th dimension that is not a faux pas.
But yeah,
Maybe in the 7th dimension, it doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe like in a higher dimensional space, it
Yeah.
doesn't have the same shapes.
Yeah, like it's actually like a super elevated font.
Yeah, but what we see in 3-dimensional space is Comic Sans,
Yeah.
and we're all just like,
Yes.
It's my mom's favorite.
I know.
It is the best font ever.
You and my mom
Comic Sans.
love it.
Especially for serious things like CDC warnings, right?
Right.
Like, CDC secure area. Do not enter. You may be exposed to so and so deadly
You should
zombie
have a
virus.
MySpace page.
MySpace. Oh my God. I know
Do
people.
not use Times New Roman.
Times. What is like? I don't even know what that means. Why is it Times New Roman? Why can't it just be New Roman? Like I don't know. I don't know enough about fonts. But
Older bookmen.
yes.
Cam would know.
It's the lineage of the font, I believe, is Times.
Oh,
And then
okay.
New Roman is something
Oh,
different.
okay. I don't know. Font is fascinating. I mostly, since I draw comics, I hand letter everything. So I don't know. I only type.
I've still never seen any of your comics.
I know. I should have. Speaking of that, I would like to just say, this was given to me by a friend of mine named Kaylee Kazoo, and I highly recommend you look up her art. It's really good, and she does a lot of very cartoony, very fun stuff. And she's also one of my favorite singers. Look up her music if you can. It's some of the best stuff I've ever heard. She's really good, and I just wanted to say look her up. She's really good. Kaylee Kazoo. Kelly Fontecchio. I do believe she does her art under. But are you saying something, Leo?
Maybe I could pick up his purring. I can't.
He's rumbling away.
Oh, hi, Leo.
Yeah, the art's they're very cool. This is very.
Yeah, it's very,
It's a
very.
lot.
I have another art book by her, and it's just so good. I really, she's probably my favorite artist because I love cartoony. My stuff looks kind of like that, but not as good. It's very cartoony. I'm
I
not
like
good
the
with
variation
colors.
of style. This one right here looks like my ex-girlfriend, except not green-haired, and doesn't have a fishtail. Also, it'd be problematic because she once said that she would eat a mermaid if she ever met one.
There's a great song about someone who would eat a
Not the
mermaid.
sexy one.
No, not in the sexy way. Like in the like potentially like almost definitely some kind of like manslaughter kind of situation where she eats a fish person.
Is it even a sexy way to eat a mermaid? I mean, do they have genitals?
Well, I mean, it depends.
So.
How well versed are you in Red Dwarf lore, like the TV show? Because there's an episode there where there's this guy who's a highly evolved cat on it, and they're in like VR, and in the VR world, he has a girlfriend who's a mermaid, but she's a reverse mermaid. She's fish on top, and woman on the bottom.
Oh, no thanks.
Which, for him, because he's a cat, is like better in both ways.
What's this show called?
Red Dwarf.
I've never heard of it.
It was like a 1980s low-budget British sci-fi comedy.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Red Dwarf. Yeah, British Britcoms are always really good.
And it's still on. They produced a 10th season like a couple years ago, and then they produced another one. And they're all
nice.
like old and fat now, so it's kind of
that's
funny.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like when TV shows got a long time. It's kind of
the guy who plays a robot, like the robot even looks older.
Right. As you knew, whatever. It is almost
Psycho.
Dingus Day, as you know. I would not even admit I'm Polish, but it is coming. I will, whatever.
I'm
Who
so
cares?
excited.
Yeah, I don't even.
It was 2 days ago.
Oh, was it?
Was it really? Oh, well, never mind. Oh, yeah, it was.
Oh, because we're in the future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the
If you were in the
You
future.
gotta
yeah.
remember, we're in the future.
Yes, I'm sorry.
There's that whole like time warp thing where you just don't remember
Yeah.
until after the show. Yeah.
Right. Yes. But, yeah, I'm gonna do what our other typical host would do and promote infringement, too. If you haven't signed up, I think you're running out of time. You should sign up for that. Infringement's coming up. You can do almost any act as long as it's legal, I do
think
believe.
they already ran out of time.
Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
no.
Sorry, guests.
Yeah. If
Well,
you
not
haven't
guests,
signed
but-
up, I don't know. Just
Too bad.
too bad. Yeah.
You knew.
Attend and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Go to things.
I'm not a performance artist, so I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I'm an illustrator. That's real boring to watch.
Yeah.
Watch me
So
work
you're
on
drawing a
this
line, a
one
very,
little-
very smooth line, huh?
Watch me work on this little detail for
I think
2
you
hours.
display your work when it's done.
Ah, yeah. I guess you could do that, or you could do it in a weird medium like
Pudding?
pudding.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Not
blood.
the non-anal type.
You could offer to, like, draw it on people's
not
bodies.
the non-anal type. Yeah, you could. Oh, yeah. It's just like, yeah. I guess you could like do it, like draw on people's bodies or something. I'm not sure how many people's bodies I want to really touch, though. Like especially at infringement.
Good
Like,
point.
I'm not.
You're digging a hole here.
I am.
How's it down there?
It's dark. Does anybody have any of those like hangy work lights?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm just gonna sit here.
What are we looking at?
I'm just sitting
Mae's
in my hole.
metaphorically in a hole.
I'm metaphorically in a hole.
Oh, okay. I thought I was missing
Dug
something.
pretty deep.
Yes. Anyway, you're just having a good old time, aren't you, Leo?
He's just.
He's like,
hanging out,
he's just
alright.
chilling.
He's so soft.
I'm listening to like the backbeat here and just watching that cat, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like a if I had some sort of like influencing substances, I'd be like I was being abducted by aliens.
He's a pretty alien-looking cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very much an alien.
An alien.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm really excited to go see Buckethead. Are either of you guys into Buckethead?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of Buckethead, but I like the name.
Oh, Buckethead's
Alright.
amazing. He's going to be here on the 3rd, and I'm excited. I'm kind of concerned because a few months ago, I don't even know how he's on tour because he doesn't really talk. But for the first time he gave an interview as himself, and he said he was dying. So I'm wondering if he's just touring because he's dying and he knows that's it. But in the interview, he said he couldn't even walk across the room, so I don't know what's going on.
Ooh, though, this is rough.
But if you do ever get a chance, you should really see Buckethead. It's this guy, you never see his face, he doesn't talk, and he wears a KFC bucket on his head. And he plays guitar, and he claims to have been raised by chickens. And
I like the sound of this.
yeah, it's very interesting. He's got thousands and thousands of albums out.
Thousands.
At least because he releases one almost every day.
Oh.
And he
Oh, I think you were telling us about him.
Oh, was
a
I?
while ago.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least he
Someone
came out and
was.
said it. Like, if he
Sounds
is
very
dying, at least he came out and said it. And
Yeah, 'cause
it's
no
not
one
like
would've
if
known.
David Bowie's last album was like, oh, hey, listen to David Bowie's last album, and then he dies, and you're like, oh my god, this album is so much sadder now.
It's pretty depressing anyway.
Yeah,
It's
it is, yeah.
very-
Yeah. David Bowie's.
Oh, I forget David Bowie's dead, and every time I remind myself, it makes me really sad.
I know, it doesn't seem... Because it just seems so sudden when it happened. I wasn't expecting it.
Also, I was pretty sure he was an alien robot. So
He's something.
And like, you know,
with gratuitous crotch shots and on Jim Henson movies.
I'm not saying
Definitely.
that the power of his crotch was holding the universe together, but look at all that's happened since then.
Yeah, good point.
Mhm.
But...
Or
He was
just
the
the power of
spaceman.
David Bowie.
Yeah, I mean, his power definitely.
Oh,
was
you
in
derived
crotch.
from the crotch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a gold encrusted, like diamond plated techno codpiece
Codpiece.
underneath all that.
I've always wanted to wear a cod piece. I just think they're kind of like a funny idea. Like,
You should probably get a cod piece.
yeah, I
You ever
feel
seen
like
What's holding you back?
I just don't know where to get one. And if I got one in the mail and like, I don't know, I feel like they'd be a little weird.
How do you feel about bedazzlers and things like macrame? You know, crafty things. Because what you can do is you can go to like a craft supply store, like a Joann's Fabric, and just get all the necessary things to bedazzle, say, like a jock strap or like a cup or something.
Yeah, good point. Good point. That's a very good point.
Have you ever seen the pirate movie?
Yeah, well, I was about to ask that.
The pirate movie?
It's
No.
literally called the Pirate Movie.
When is it from?
If you like
80s.
nautical things and cod pieces, you
I
should
do.
watch
I'm
the
going
pirate
to.
movie. It is
It's a thing.
wonderful
That exists.
and
Now that I know it exists, I need to. I
And-
think so.
and relevant because there's lots of wonderful musical scenes in it.
Yeah, it's a very bad, unfunny comedy.
It's
More like 80s trope
loosely
based on the Pirates of
Pirates
Penzance.
What's that?
Funny comedian Josh Smith.
Yes.
or what was that guy who was in all those movies in the 90s and early 2000s? Ron Schneider. Ron Schneider in. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Miss May. But yeah, that sounds fantastic. Because that's why I like Jethro Tull. Because Ian Anderson, he always wears those cod pieces, and Ian Anderson's the coolest guy in my opinion. I just love Jethro Tull, and it's just I don't know,
Fair.
it's cool. He's just so.
I don't know why, but there's part of me that every time somebody says Jethro Tull, the part of my brain like takes the end of Gary Newman's band, like Gary Newman and the two-way whatever, and sticks it on there after Jethro Tull. I'm like, oh, that's not right.
The real Jethro Tull invented the sea drill. There's a fact for you.
Oh.
That's where they got the name. They changed their name every night so they could get hired at the same club to get more money, and people wouldn't know it was them. And then the one that just stuck was Jethro Tull. But yeah.
Interesting.
But he changed the name to just Ian Anderson recently. Even though it's still the same band, he changed the name. It's like you already had Jethro Tull for 45 years. It's like we know who you are. It's not that big a deal.
Good, just switch it up. Just the name got boring.
Well, they couldn't get hired at any club.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. But I don't know. I wish I could play the flute. It's so cool. It's like fresh. Yeah. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah.
This show's really just coming apart at the seams.
Sorry, we got that little jam.
Even
Just
Leo looks disgusted.
Yeah, Leo's are.
Do you have anything to say?
Hey, you know, Leo kind of has. You know how they say people's pets look a little bit like him.
yeah.
He's
Like
got
both-
Pam's eyes.
He does.
Yeah.
The kind of like.
I can see that. Yeah, he does.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
What kind of cat is he?
It's Cornish Rex.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Stimpy was?
think
I have
so.
no idea. Maybe. I love Ren and Stimpy so
I love
much.
Ren and Stimpy. Have you seen those? Have you seen those like looks like the silicone sculptures, like hyper realistic sculptures for Ren and Stimpy.
Those are
And then-
terrifying.
Yeah, they're so disgusting. Ugh.
She was trained by John Kay. Like that was
yeah?
that's like one of his proteges.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting then, because these are all like very like they're mermaids and they're definitely not wearing tops, but they're also very you know, there aren't nipples everywhere.
Yeah.
And the John Kay, I feel like John Kay.
Oh, he would put the nipples.
Yeah, he
Oh,
would,
yeah, he
everything
definitely
would be
would.
everywhere. Yeah.
There's a very funny quote I always quote from him where he says, "Draw the damn nipples." And he actually says exactly that. And I thought it was the funniest thing to say. And he goes, "And then we drew the nipples, and the network hated us." I'm like, I don't know.
So he was like, so his Ren impression comes from just
That's just how he talks.
how he talks.
Yeah. He goes, yeah, it's so funny how he said he came up with Ren. He said he was just trying to do like a weird Peter Lorre with a slight Mexican accent. It's just, I don't know. I love John Kay. He's very crazy
weird
though.
Person, yeah. He's super crazy. Look, after Ren and Stimpy went off, and they brought it back on Spike, but Spike is like the guy channel, and it was like, you know, like the dude broy kind of like, or like the I'm a manly man kind of like Spike. That's what Spike's thing was, and they brought it back, and it was like really like grotesque, but also they were gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ren and Stimpy were like clearly gay in it, and Spike was like, oh.
Yeah.
It didn't even last on there.
It only lasted, I think, 6 episodes.
Yeah,
but my
yeah.
favorite episode comes from the new one, Onward and Upwards. It's almost an hour long, and it's so good.
Well, there's a new one?
Well, from that newer series on
okay,
Spike, that it's called Onward is Upward. It's possibly my number one favorite cartoon of all time, and I really love cartoons. That one's I think up there. That's a really good episode. It's almost like it's pretty much like a movie, but it was never on TV. Yeah. Fresh.
That's what that burp was.
Yeah.
Fresh.
But
From my innards to you, the viewer.
do you?
Tim and Eric there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when they. You ever see? I was just watching. You ever see the one where Richard Dunn's in like a mesh see-through top, and he's interviewing the guy from the Red Hot Chili Peppers? He's like, "This was David Barrow for Chili Peppers," and he's just like so gross and weird, and you can like see his nipples.
I have not seen that. I'm not entirely sure I want to.
It's so strange.
I have to be in a certain state to watch the show.
That's a very
I
good
like
point.
Minivan Highway.
Yes.
Van Highway?
I don't know what that is, but I am
don't
sure
know.
it's good.
Is that anything to do with Mini Driver?
That's one of the strangest. When I was in LA, I didn't know Tim and Eric had this much money, but they must, because there was pictures of Tim on a lot of benches in LA, and I was very strange. Like I thought they were like way more cult than that, but how could they be? They must have money to have Tim's face all over the bench, you know?
Yeah, or there's just some weird fan who's like, I love you the most!
Yeah.
Look at all these things I put on benches for you!
Because there was no
Love
Eric,
me.
so maybe it's like Tim's. Did you know he got stabbed in the back, literally?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
What?
In his apartment a couple of years ago, I think it was like a crazed fan tried to kill him, and he said he ran for like over a mile, and he went into some gay bar, and they just helped him, and they like saved him. But isn't that crazy? He said he got really close to like really being seriously injured. Well, he was seriously injured, but he didn't die, thankfully.
Yeah, but see, I've seen so much of that, and and they're so like kind of like intentionally. I think it's intentionally not good actors.
Oh, definitely.
That I imagine like that scenario in a Tim and Eric kind of where he gets stabbed in the back. He's like, oh no. Oh, my back.
Yeah.
Why? Like the tri-ball thing.
Oh
Yeah.
God. When Eric has
I
the
gotta
third
go to
ball.
a Le Mans class because that's what they did is to get that, which I think might be offensive to some people, but like I feel like that would be the same kind of setup, you know, like it played out in my head as like one of their episodes, and I feel bad for it.
That's okay. I mean, they're so wacky and nuts.
Yeah.
I've hung out with David Liebehart, who was a regular on the show for an extended like 2-day time period, or like a day and a half, whatever. But he's so weird. He swears up and down that his wife was an alien, and let me tell you the difference. You see, aliens, they got the big toe in the middle, and he's sitting in my car, I'm driving him all over the place, all over the city, and he's like, and Jonah stealing my money, and I'm talking to Jonah, and I don't know, he's just so strange. I love
Do you
David
think he was
Liebert.
just playing it up to because you're some guy you met and he's like, I'm just gonna totally screw with this guy?
No, he's nuts. Like, you look up interviews with him, he's literally crazy.
Oh wow, yeah, it's interesting.
But I love David Lee by heart. I have him on my phone when I call him sometimes to make sure he's okay, but he's... I don't know. He lives... Tim and Eric pay for his apartment, but he hates Tim and Eric. He's like, they're cheating me. I know they're taking all my money. They haven't had me on the show in 3 years. I'm like, David, maybe it's because you're saying all sorts of crazy stuff. He's like, that's what they said, but they just don't want me on anymore. And it's very strange.
This is an interesting connection.
I also
was not sure. I did not expect in my life to ever meet anybody who knew anybody who was on that show, or find out that somebody on that show was legitimately batshit.
No, he really is, and he's.
Okay.
I don't even think he knows that he's black, because we were talking to him. He's like, "Well, I'm Irish and I'm German American, and I think I've got some Native Americans." Like, okay.
Oh, he's that. Yeah. Okay.
It's like,
I don't know the actor name, but now I know who you're talking about. I know the
Yeah.
impression you're doing. He's a very weird guy.
Very, very strange, and I like
strange.
David a lot. He's very nice, but he's also.
Super, super crazy.
And he's very creepy. He keeps like, "Do you think your sister would date me?" I'm like, I don't. No.
So wait, so he's basically the characters he plays in the.
He's exactly.
episodes.
He's not making anything up. That's just him.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
That makes me wonder if it was even okay to have him on the show ever. Like, their show. Like, did they just not know he was as crazy? They just thought he was a weird guy at first?
He hosts his own show. He hosts his a show in Los Angeles that Tim and Eric were on. And it's very, I don't know, it's very strange.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if they were like taking advantage of him or something. I hope not.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I think, I don't know, because if not, what would he be doing? Like, I don't think he could have much of a career. He tours and stuff now. Like, I don't know. I feel like he got his career off it, but at the same time, he shouldn't be doing that.
And it's like, yeah, if your career is based on you being like a little,
Yeah.
just,
But he thinks he's a big star. He has such an ego. He goes, "You tell the people at the hotel that I'm a big Hollywood actor, okay? They need to give me a bigger room." I'm like, "You're not even paying for it. Your keyboard player guy is." He's like, "Yeah, but that's why he's stealing my money." And he's, oh, David.
it's just, I don't know. I have a feel. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people's careers are based on it, but I'm like, if you have enough screws loose that all your marbles fall out onto the floor, maybe that should not be what your career is based on.
I agree.
That's a
but
downward spiral situation.
his live show is good, though. But we were the opener.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he was telling me about all the other actors.
This gives
He's
a
like,
disconcerting new dimension to the entire thing.
yeah, it's... He was telling me, and Richard Dunn's wife is a crackhead, and it's like, I don't think you even know her. I think he just sees. I don't know if he sees it or if he just believes it, because like,
I don't know. He may just be fucking with you, man.
I hope so, because I love David. He's a nice guy, but he's very strange. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a David Liebert tangent.
No, it's fine. I know all sorts of new things now about it.
Yeah, now I have dropped my little headphone thing.
Oh, that was.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always wanted to hang out with more of the Tim and Eric guys. I've seen Tim and Eric live too. They put on a really funny show. But I don't know. Tell me about some good shows you guys have seen.
I saw B-52s live once. That was pretty cool.
Awesome. Where?
Oh, just here.
Nice.
Outside the Albright Knox. Like in the
nice.
parking lot. But that was like that was like 10 years ago. But I've seen some pretty I don't know. I feel like nothing I could have possibly seen is weird enough by the standards of the show, because Pam has told me about some of the shows she has been to, some of the parties she has been to, and I'm like, I both want to go to something like that and do not want any of that in my memory banks at all.
How about you, Miss Beth? What have you seen good?
I don't know. I've been to a lot of shows. I saw Rush like way back in the early 2000s.
Oh, nice.
That was cool. There's a lot of pyrotechnics.
Yeah, I saw them on their last tour. That was a really good show.
They were really good. I've been to a lot of small shows. I've seen Flogging Molly like 3 times. Almost broke my ankle in a mosh pit.
Oh, damn. That's
Yeah,
not good.
it was fun.
Yeah.
I love seeing shows.
Yeah, I saw a Weird Al.
Oh,
I saw Weird
Yeah,
Al at
that's way
CMAC.
cooler
I saw
than
his
anything I've ever
mandatory
seen.
fun tour. That was fantastic.
I think it was
It's
at
the
that.
best thing I've ever seen. My sister's there. My sister's cis, so she's like actually femmy, and she's there going, "Oh my God, this is our childhood. This is the best thing ever." I'm like, okay, just calm down and watch the show.
I think we're out of time, friends. Give us a call, leave us a message, and I hope you enjoyed the show, friends.
Yeah, it's very put together for us. I think.
Try it.